Hi everyone, my name is Taylor Kennedy and I'm pleased to be joined this week by the Athletic Director, the Senior of Intercollegiate Athletics at West Virginia State University, Mr. Nate Burton. Nate, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
So obviously I teased it yesterday, but now that we're here, I know news has kind of trickled out, but give our audience the news. I mean, obviously you've been trying to figure out your next step in your future, but give us the formal announcement of what you're doing.
Yeah, so after 10 years at West Virginia State University, I will be named the Senior Associate Athletic Director of External Affairs and Revenue Generation at Furman University in Greenville, South Carolina.
So we'll start here. I mean, walk us through the whole evolution of that, how that all came about, and why you ultimately wanted to go to Furman.
Yeah, I really wasn't looking when I saw the job posted. And then I dug into it and learned about their AD, learned about their athletic department and the university. I knew of the university because of my time at Clemson, but once I saw the job description, I really felt like it fit my background, external branding, marketing, what have you. So I applied, and after a couple of interviews and getting on campus, I just really felt like it was the next step for me.
You mentioned how you already have prior experience in the Division I ranks working at Clemson. Did that kind of make your decision a little bit easier, knowing that even though you have a decade of experience at Division II, that prior knowledge and that prior experience at a Division I school really helped make this decision a lot easier? Yeah,
it was going to take a very special opportunity for me to step away from West Virginia State. I've absolutely loved my time here. But my time at High Point, UNC Wilmington, and Clemson, Furman is going to be, if not already, one of the most premier mid-major athletic departments in the country. And I couldn't turn down an opportunity to join them.
When you talk about your time here at West Virginia State, you've been athletic director, the senior vice president for intercollegiate athletics. You've worn a lot of different hats here. You've taken on a lot of different roles here. But whenever you look back on your tenure here with the Yellow Jackets, what will you remember most about this?
Yeah, I share with my staff on Tuesday. My success is because of their success. I didn't throw a pass, I didn't shoot a basket, nothing. The championships we've won, what we've been able to accomplish in the classroom, in the community, the money that we've raised, it's all because of them and our great supporters. But it's just those lifelong friends that I've made here that I'll take with me, but just so many good memories made, and I'll cherish those forever.
How have you kind of seen this athletic department here at Institute kind of evolve and develop over the years you've been at the helm?
I think the thing that we pride ourselves on the most is that first class experience for our student athletes. When we came in, we were raising about $100,000 a year. This last year we did $800,000. So I think we've engaged the community, alumni, supporters, sponsors, everybody. So we've been able to do that. That's where I think getting people to our campus, seeing what we're about through external events that we've already talked about a little bit, but just getting people involved with West Virginia State University athletics.
So then along that line, then the feedback, what goes into the feedback whenever you go back and you do some self-evaluation with that? Because obviously you'll take that with you whenever you go to Furman, but how does that kind of play in and go hand in hand with one another?
Yeah, we're at Furman University, we're about to open a $40 million renovated basketball arena. We need people to come to that arena, see all the great things that are happening in basketballs, but then not only basketballs, every sport. So really use those external events to bring people to campus and to introduce them to Paladins athletics.
When you talk about just the world of intercollegiate athletics at the Division I ranks, obviously the ongoing conversation every day is either transfer portal or NIL, it seems like. From your perspective as an AD now going to a Division I school, how have you kind of seen those develop over the years, whether it be a Division II, now going to Division I? I mean, how is that starting to expand more and more as days go by?
Especially at our level, NIL is part of the conversation with recruits. I mean, it's one of those things where we didn't think it was going to be talked about as much, but it is. It's one of the first questions they ask. And a transfer portal, if someone's unhappy, then, the next year, they're probably not going to be on the roster. They'll be looking to go elsewhere. Maybe they can play or what they think is a better experience. So for us, Division II, you typically see that jump from Division II wanting to go to Division I, and Division I's, they're going to go down to Division II or maybe another Division I. NIL at that level, it's going to be underneath my portfolio at Furman. And so I'm anxious to see, the involvement with NIL and the across many sports that they have there. So we'll just see how that goes, but it's definitely changed from 10 years ago to today.
What's your vision whenever you first get into your office down at Furman? And you did mention the NIL, which we'll get to that in a second, but what's your vision in these first couple of weeks whenever you do get to Furman?
I want to meet as many people as possible. Greenville is one of the fastest growing cities. It's a beautiful community. I already know some people down there. They have an incredible staff at Furman. It's one of the things that made me want to be part of their athletic department. Is Jason Donnelly is their AD. He is phenomenal. And the staff that's under him and some of the staff that will be under me, just great people that remind me of the people of West Virginia. So that's one of the things that I think that I saw quickly was it reminds me of home. So it was one of those things, one of the reasons why I wanted to be part of that.
You mentioned the NIL portion of your job down at Furman. How are you going to try and implement NIL more and try and get that more engaging? Because there's some people out there that may not think NIL is the sexiest thing.
Right.
But from your perspective, at this new position, how are you going to try and implement NIL and try and help people understand it more and be open to it more?
That's one of the things that I shared during the interview process was that you're going to have a donor. Some donors think that NIL is the worst thing, and some donors think it's the best thing. But, if you want some of these prize recruits out there and you want to invest into the basketball program or football program or volleyball program, what have you, here's how we can move this roster and move this team forward and just provide them the resources of how to get involved, where the money goes, how it's spent, and what have you. So it's a little bit at our level, so I'm experienced, but I still have so much to learn in that area.
Talk to me about the relationship side of things, because when we were walking in, obviously you were connecting with the student athletes here at West Virginia State. I know in the past you and I have talked about your relationships and how strong they are with the coaches here as well. How much are you going to take pride in developing relationships early on with the coaches and the student athletes at Furman?
I think I just need to have energy. I want to be everywhere. I want to be at all the games, in the community, at certain events. So I just think it's introducing myself, being seen, being vocal, but supporting our student athletes and our staff in every way possible. The main thing with the staff is being a teammate. And the main thing with the student athletes is supporting them in the classroom, in the community, and on the field of play.
Now, whenever you do start these relationships and you do spark these conversations, are you going to bring up the fact that you played against WVU at the Coliseum against Kevin Pittsnoggle?
I'm going to say that we played him, but I won't tell them the result. I had 2 points lost by 50, but they don't need to know that.
Well, they just did. A couple more for you. And just talking about West Virginia State and the next person that will come into this office and take over your position, kind of give them, if they're watching this or they're listening to this, what should they expect? I mean, what should they expect? What should they be prepared for from an energy level perspective and from an athletic department perspective?
The first thing are the people, the staff that we have here, the student athletes that we have, the leadership across campus. Great people who are very talented and want the best for the students at West Virginia State University. And then our student athletes. I mean, what they accomplish day in and day out, whether it's in the classroom, on the court, in the community, it's something that's very impressive. But then also the Charleston community. I mean, the success that we've had at West Virginia State, if it weren't for the city of Charleston, Kanawha County, and the state of West Virginia, we wouldn't have achieved very much. So very appreciative of all those aspects. But just really the people here are second to none.
I know you also wear other hats. I mean, you talk about public courts, the sports complex that's supposed to be going in down in Charleston. You're on multiple boards in the NCAA as well. Are you going to take some of those things with the higher ranks of higher education with the NCAA with you, or are you going to try and get that off your shoulders just to try and get your feet wet and rolling at Furman?
Unfortunately, I have to step aside on all those roles. The Division II Men's Basketball National Committee is one of my most favorite things that I've ever done. Just the people and working the Elite 8 events and what have you, but then the D2 ADA Board of Governors, I'm on the committee for the Charleston Sports Facility. I'm hoping I can stay on that one. I want to see that off the ground because I think it's such a great asset for the city of Charleston and for the whole state. So unfortunately, I have to step aside with a lot of those committees, but I will stay in touch with everybody.
My final question to you, I know you do have a hard time saying no. I know you and I have talked, I've bugged you about that before, but what goes into that? I mean, obviously you want to get out there as much as possible, as you alluded to, but at the same time you want to try and get established with your new job and everything, but you also want to make a good first impression. What goes into not saying no, as some would say?
I just feel like if there's any way that we can move our athletic department forward, our university forward, if there's any opportunity for me to grow, then I say yes. I mean, I think the easy thing for a lot of people to do is say no just because the amount of work that's involved or for a variety of reasons. I just like to help people. So I think that's one of the reasons why I say yes to so much is I can, whether it is my, knowledge, my experience, what have you, it's just one of those things where I want to see someone's situation better, so I try to get involved. Now, I want to do the same thing at Furman. I want to do the same thing in the city of Greenville. I plan on being involved as much as I can, but make sure, my job's taken care of, but it allows me to meet so many great people through saying yes.
Well, my friend, it's been a pleasure to work with you. Good to see that you're moving up in the ranks, and best of luck down in Greenville.
So before you cut off,
oh jeez,
you have been amazing for myself, for West Virginia State University athletics. The Gazette Mail has been great in covering our student athletes, our successes, and what have you. So I want to personally thank you on behalf of our athletic department. You are very, very good at your job, and I look forward to watching you as well.
I appreciate that, my friend.
Sir.
That's the Vice President for Intercollegiate Athletics at West Virginia State University, who will now be moving forward to Furman starting next week. So be sure to follow us on our Facebook page at HD Media Sports for more coverage of West Virginia State University athletics. And be sure to check out this story by going to our website at wvgazettemail.com.